Greetings, everyone, and a very warm welcome to day two of our workshop on how to do legal research organized by Legal Vidya. I am Khushbu Chawla, your host for today's session, and I'm thrilled to join this exciting journey with all of you. I wish you all a very happy 76th Republic Day from the side of Team Legal Vidya. In today's session, we will be discussing about legal research in more depth and also the steps involved in the legal research. Before we begin, here are a few quick reminders. This session will be recorded and the recording will be shared with all the registrants. Kindly keep your microphones muted during the session. Save your questions for the Q&A session at the end. We will be sharing a feedback form and you all are suggested to fill it. There is also a reminder that those people who have filled the feedback form yesterday do not need to fill the form today. Before we begin the session, here, I would like to use this opportunity to inform you all about the our upcoming 60 days advanced course on civil procedure and drafting. The speaker for this course will be Advocate Gitika Jain ma'am, who has an experience of 12 plus years in legal practice, who is also a gold medalist in her BA LLB and silver medalist in her LLM. She is also the project lead for Government of Andhra Pradesh and also Senior Law Assistant SIDCO, Government of Maharashtra. The key benefits of this course include regular classes, special classes for drafting, convenient class timing, and e-certificate on completion of the course. Interesting part for you all is that we have a Republic Day offer. Generally, this course is available for rupees 7,999, but for today, it is available in only rupees 2,025 rupees. So don't miss this amazing opportunity and enroll now for this course. For more details, kindly visit legalvidya.com or contact our HR manager, Mr. Paris. Now, without any further ado, let's give a warm welcome to our esteemed speaker, Ms. Sakshi Sharma, ma'am. We are eagerly looking forward to your insights. The floor is all yours, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Khushbu. Everyone, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Yes. Thank you so much. So, in this session, as Khushbu has already stated, we'll be specifically talking about legal research, the steps involved in legal research, and the kinds of sources that you use in your research. Now, yesterday we had a brief insight on legal research. Can anyone of you tell me what you understood yesterday on what legal research basically means? You can write down your answers in the chat box for me to read.
I request to everyone please respond to the question.
Yes, process of identifying and retrieving information. Arshi, that's somewhat correct. That is what search and research basically means. Now, in this session specifically, we'll be trying to understand what legal research is and the steps involved in writing your research report or research article. So, please let me know when my screen is visible to you all. Yes. You all have given appropriate answers. Let's read about this in detail. Is my screen visible to you all? Great. Thank you so much. So let's talk about legal research. Now, if you can see on the screen, yesterday also we have come up to a conclusion that research is basically a systematic process of information, retrieving it to increase our knowledge of. Now, legal research basically is a systematic process aimed at increasing knowledge of law, and it involves two. Now, the first component uh, is hi, I'm so sorry. Am I audible to everyone now?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Great. Thank you so much. And I'm so sorry for the delay. There was a network error. I'll reshare my screen again. Now, is my screen visible to you all and am I audible? Great. Thank you. Uh, Now, as we were talking of legal research, so research हम लोगों ने कल establish किया था. It is a systematic process of it is a systematic process and it is a structured process where we analyze data to come up to a new conclusion or a finding or to increase our existing knowledge. Similarly, legal research is a systematic process aimed at increasing the knowledge of law. It involves two main components. The first is the fact finding, and the second is the advancement of legal sciences. Now, fact finding का मतलब क्या होता है? Fact finding is the process in which we seek to determine what law is on a specific issue, and the advancement of legal sciences is the process in which we examine the principles and try to understand the reason of why a rule exists or why a law exists. Now, legal research is not just something you do by reading, going quickly over your uh, the statutes that you have, the constitution, or going over textbooks. It is a complex process and it requires navigating not just one but many laws, case laws, legal materials, including textbooks, and also reading various research papers and commentaries to understand various point of views and to understand how law impacts the society and why the law is the way it is. Now, there are several key categories. which are involved in understanding the law. Now, the four key categories that I have identified and that various jurists have identified are doctrinal research, research and theory, empirical investigation, and reform oriented research. Now, even yesterday we talked about doctrinal kind of research. Can anybody write it down in the chat box what doctrinal research is and what it aims at? Anyone who has an idea of what doctrinal research is? Yes, you're absolutely right. It aims at finding what the law is rather than understanding it in a deeper sense. Anyone else who has an idea of what doctrinal research means? Deep analysis of uh, it is an armchair research done in libraries. Yes, it is true. Yes, you might be a little confused between doctrinal and descriptive because they're very similar. The study about the goal of law, that Sonali, please can you explain your answer a little bit more? You're there, but you just need to understand and explain it a little bit more. Yes, Sarah, that is right. Based on pre-existing material and documents. प्रियंका डॉक्ट्रिनल रिसर्चेस जो बुक्स से होती है yes doctrinal research is also known as an one of this already rightly stated the library based answer legal research because you do not do field work. There's very little to know, there is no field work involved in doctrinal legal research because doctrinal legal research is when you research from the already existing sources and try to develop a deeper understanding of what law is. Yes, this Hari, you're absolutely right. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. It is a type of research that focuses on analyzing existing laws, statutes, case laws, and legal principles to interpret and apply them. That is the most appropriate answer that I've heard, and you all have given. You all were right in your own way. It is a library based armchair method where we have an already existing law, we try to interpret it and analyze it with the materials that are already available at hand. We do not go into fees, we do not go into surveys or making questionnaires and logo ka jawab dena on their point of view. Why is that? Because in doctrinal legal research we focus on what the law is and understanding it. We do not go on the causes of what effect law is having. We do not see how it's impacting society. Now, coming back to our presentation, doctrinal research, it is what focuses on analysis and evaluation of legal rules, principles, and doctrines, as you all have already understood and stated. It systematically organizes existing law, examines their interrelation, and critically reviews legislation and judicial decisions considering their underlying policies. Am I audible to you all? Please let me know if my voice is not audible or there's an issue. Okay, great. Thank you so much, guys. Now coming to the second aspect for which we do legal research, that is research in theory. Now, if you read it, research in theory, this involves exploring the conceptual foundations of legal rules and principles. It provides intellectual framework necessary for empirical research and supports advancements in law through legislative, judicial, and administrative process. Now, in research in theory, what we do is we explore the foundations of legal rules. That is, we dig deeper into understanding the legal rules and principles to build on our empirical investigation. Now, empirical research भी कल हम लोगों ने बात करी थी. Does anyone remember what empirical research means, or what empirical investigation basically means, what we do in kind of empirical research. Is my voice still not clear?
It is clear, ma'am.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Kushbu. Yes, so any one of you who has an idea of what empirical research means? Yes, yes, it relies on data collection. That is exactly right. Anyone else? Yes, you're all right to say it relies heavily on data. That is, we collect data to prove or disprove a particular point. Now, empirical research or empirical investigation, when we talk of, this category assesses real world impact of law, highlighting discrepancies between legal ideals and social realities. Now, we all know कि जब law आता है, so law is brought into a particular society to fix a already existing issue or to may improve the standards of living. Let's just say that in simple terms. जब हम empirical investigation करते हैं legal research, what we try to highlight is we try to highlight कि law जिस purpose से लाया गया था, is it fulfilling that purpose or not? If there are any discrepancies in the law, and if what are the social realities? मान लो एक law लाया गया for the betterment of people. Say for example there has been a law has come into force in a particular country to empower women. Is it actually helping women? Is the law being implemented to its fullest, या फिर जो goals थे उस law को लाने के, every act that is brought, every rule or regulation, you will see there's a statement of purpose of why a particular law is being bought, why it is being enforced. क्या वो चीजें fulfill हो पा रही है? Is law serving its purpose? In empirical investigation we try to find that. Researcher in empirical investigation examines the social, political, economic and cultural dimensions of law, reviewing it as a social phenomenon. That is, we do not read law as just what it is. We also read various aspects. That is, we go into seeing the causation of how law is impacting people. We also go into seeing if there are any negative impacts of a particular law that is being bought, or what are the positive impacts. Everything is highlighted in empirical investigation. And now the fourth one is reform oriented. As the name suggests, reform मतलब क्या? Reform का मतलब होता है change लाना. Now, based on your empirical studies or empirical investigation and your critical evaluation, this type of research recommends the changes in law and legal institutions to improve their effectiveness and relevance. Now coming to the second topic of day, I'm sure you all have already somewhere or other gone through various sources of research or various sources of information. Now, can you all tell me what are the various sources of research and what comes under primary, secondary, and tertiary research? Uh, yes, you'll get the PPTs and I'll answer all the questions at the end of the session. Uh, because we have a long way ahead. Okay, primary based on first-hand data. Yes. Can you give me some examples, Sarah? Primary includes books and commentaries. Are you okay? Now, then, what does secondary and tertiary include? Shivani, you're absolutely right. Primary are directly related to law that are established by governments such as BERET. So that is absolutely right. Then what does secondary and tertiary include if Himanshi, if primary includes books and commentaries? Yes, Dashari, tertiary includes encyclopedias very well. So you're all aware of what primary, secondary, and tertiary sources are. So we'll just go through a few sources very quickly, and then we'll go on writing your research report and research work, and what are the steps involved in that, which is the major topic. Now, since you all have answered it correctly, we are not going to go very deep into this topic. We'll just see what the sources are and what primary, secondary, and tertiary are. Now, primary sources. Primary sources contain original information and observations. They can be obtained directly from individuals or found in published research papers, legal periodicals, reports. To put it very simply, primary sources are the original sources of information. अब law की जब हम बात करते हैं, what is the original source? In law, the original source is the constitution, the bare acts, the legislations, rules, regulations, and the judicial pronouncement made by the higher courts, the high courts, the supreme courts. So, when we talk of primary sources of information in law, we always go firstly for the constitution, then for the bare acts, then unke rules and regulations relating to that bare acts, and then the case reports. This is These sources are the ones that provide us first information of a specific legal issue or a topic, and that is what a primary source is. Secondary source again comes after the primary source, and secondary source derive information from primary source, and basically organizes it systematically in a much easier way. So जब हम बात करते हैं
Ma'am, your voice is not clear.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, Kushbu. And I'm so sorry, guys. I have a lot of network issues today. I apologize for all these discrepancies. Now coming to the secondary source. Now, the secondary source होता है law का, they usually derive their information from the primary source and organize it in a systematic manner from for us. Now, secondary sources include textbooks, treaties, commentaries, statutes. And then comes the tertiary source, and the most easiest example of understanding the tertiary sources, the handbooks. जो कि आपने पढ़ी होगी, handbook on so and so act. It is a compilation of primary and secondary source, and it is written in such a way that not just lawyers but anyone who wants to understand a particular topic, even if it's a layman, can understand that from the tertiary source of law. जो आपके डिक्शनरीज हो गए कई बार which explain some particular topics, जो आपके encyclopedias हो गए as you have written down in the chat box, and जो handbooks होते हैं. Now those all come under the tertiary sources of information. So these are the three sources of information that you rely on when you're writing your research paper. You first focus on the primary source, then you focus on the secondary source, and then you focus on the tertiary source. Now, coming to the most important topics, I'd say that is the major stages in legal research, and these are the stages that you use to write your research paper. Now, this is just a gist of it because, again, due to time constraints, we cannot go, explaining each and every topic. But if you do wish to understand each and every topic, I'll also be sharing this particular PDF, as well as I'll be sharing a link to where you can read more about all these topics. Now, coming to the first step in our legal research, what do you do? आपको अगर रिसर्च पेपर लिखना है सबसे पहले आप क्या करोगे? You identify your research problem. Now, the identification and formulation of research problem is the first and the most crucial step, because अगर आपका research problem appropriate नहीं होगा, clearly defined नहीं होगा, or if it is not crisp, you will not be able to write on it. And clearly defined problem can also lead to a loss of interest and unforeseen challenges, जिसके कारण अगेन रिसर्चर विल अबैंडन हिज प्रोजेक्ट. मान लो आपने एक टॉपिक लिया विच इज वेरी वेग and you cannot dig deeper into a top. If it is very vague, you have a lot of things to write on. Ab kya kya likhoge? Law is not something that is very concise, right? There are many things that come under law. So if your research problem is vague, if it is crisp or clearly defined, it will be very hard for you as a researcher to write your research report. So the first thing that you need to do while writing a research paper is identify what your research problem is. Now there are several key steps of identifying. First, you identify a general area of your interest. फिर आप उसे concise करोगे, and then you select a specific aspect and conduct a primary reading, and then you write a research problem. Now, say for example, I am someone who likes criminal law. The broader topic I'd like to choose is then I'll narrow it down to a specific interest area. Say, for example, my interest area in criminal law relates to rehabilitation of prisoners. So that is a specific aspect that I'd like to select. Then I'll go and read already existing research papers that is there on rehabilitation of prisoners. I'll see if there are any gaps in the research paper, and if there is any specific topic even in rehabilitation of prisoners that I can work on. And once I figure out my topic, I'll write down that particular topic or that particular research problem. So the first step to writing your research paper is to identifying what you want to write down and what is the problem that you'll solve by writing your research paper. Coming to the second topic, that is review of literature. Now, review of literature, as the name suggests, आप क्या करते हो review of literature में? You go through various literature sources that are available, and you try to understand the gaps. Now, in review of literature, if you can read and if my screen is clearly visible, after formulating your research problem, the next step for you as a researcher is to conduct a comprehensive literature review. This process involves locating and selecting relevant references that pertain to a research problem. Now, जब हम legal scholar की बात करते हैं, we go through textbooks, we go through legal commentaries, we go through case judgments, we go to conference proceedings, and government committee reports are also something that we go through while we do a review of literature. पहले तो everyone used to do their literature review by going to library, reading various sources that are available there. But now, since there's internet and everything is very convenient, people usually go on internet and find out sources, you know, on that particular issue that they want to write on and read. But whenever you're going to web sources, to access the latest perspectives or point of view, always ensure that it is credit of the information that is there is or the information you're reading or from a particular website is a credible website. You cannot just read any random website, because there are websites जहाँ पे students अपने blogs लिख के they publish. You cannot just read that and give your literature review. So always read from credible websites. That is something that suggest. Now, why is it important to do a literature review? That is to understand the past work. That is, आपसे पहले भी कई researchers होंगे जिन्होंने उस particular topic पे research की होगी. What was their point of view, to understand that? Then to map out the research technique, that is on how you want to do research, and identify there are identify the limitations to your research, then assess the adequacy of data used in previous studies, clarifies central arguments and concepts discussed in literature, and to refine the research problem. जब आप literature review पढ़ोगे, you'll come across various aspects, and that will help you refine your problem much more and to make it much crisp. So to do that, also it is very important that you do your literature review very deeply. Now, coming to the most important aspect, I'd say, of your research, yes, data collection is important, but what is more important is formulation of a hypothesis. Now, does anyone has, if you have written a research paper or if you have written your dissertation or thesis, I'm sure you have an idea of what an hypothesis is. Uh, After conducting your literature review, you as a researcher may need to develop or reformulate your research statement. Now, what you do is you formulate a hypothesis. A hypothesis is a testable assumption made to explore its logical or empirical consequences. Now, this is the textbook definition that I'm reading. So, first we'll read this and then we'll see what comes under hypothesis. So, a hypothesis is defined as a testable assumption made to explore its logical or empirical consequence. For a statement to qualify as a hypothesis, it must be capable of being tested through empirical methods, that is, through various modes of data collection. It cannot be if it cannot be empirically confirmed, it does not serve as a valid hypothesis, regardless of how interesting it might be. Now, जब हम hypothesis की बात करते हैं, there are four major aspects. The first is the testability. It must be specific, it must be measurable, and it must be falsifiable. Now, testable की जब हम बात करते हैं, it must be possible to gather evidence to either support, that is to prove or disprove your particular hypothesis. Hypothesis again is clear and precise, and it is not vague and general, because अगर आप general लिख रहे हो, you're just writing down a topic that you're going to discuss on. Hypothesis is something that is very clear and precise. Then it is also measurable. That is, you when you collect data, you'll be able to quantify your data and measure your hypothesis, I'd say. And it is always possible to falsify your hypothesis, that is to prove your hypothesis as wrong. That is also possible. अब हम एक एग्जांपल लेते हैं. This is a hypothesis that I have written. So, say for example, I want to consider the rehabilitation program of drug offenders. I have written a program ki, I have written a hypothesis ki individuals जो ये new rehabilitation program है, if they complete that, there will be a low recidivism rate, that is a low rate of free offending compared to the individuals who receive traditional rehabilitation or no rehabilitation. बेसिकली आई एम सेइंग कि जो नई रिहैबिलिटेशन प्रोग्राम है जो लॉन्च होने वाली है, if a prisoner goes through that, he will not commit an offense again compared to the individuals जो नए rehabilitation program नहीं ले रहे हैं. Now, when we talk of this particular hypothesis, is it testable? The first question is yes, it is testable. The recidivism rate of a program participants can be compared to a control group, that is, a group of other participants who are not going through the new rehabilitation program. Is it specific? Yes, because my hypothesis clearly defines the outcome. What is the outcome? That is the rate of free offending, and there is a comparison group. Is it measurable? Yes. Is my hypothesis measurable? Can I compare the number of, uh, I'd say, people who have reoffended? Can I compare the number of people who went through a new rehabilitation program or who went through traditional rehabilitation program? Can I compare कि उनमें से कितनों ने offense फिर से किया है, यानी how many of them are truly changed? Can I compare that? Yes. So, is it measurable? All right. Yes. Is it falsifiable? Now, coming to the falsifiable part, if the recidivism rate of program of participants uh, is not lower than the control group, then the hypothesis would be disproven. So, Yes. Can my hypothesis be proved wrong? Yes, it can be proved wrong. Hence, my hypothesis, I'd say, is very appropriate. ना जब हम लीगल रिसर्च की बात करते हैं इट इज नॉट ऑलवेज नेसेसरी कि आपका रिसर्च पेपर जो हो इट हैज एन हाइपोथेसिस बिकॉज when we do exploratory descriptive type of legal research where we just try to understand what the law is and explain what the law is, then that type of research might not require a hypothesis because you're just trying to explain and understand what the law is in a deeper sense. So, whenever you do descriptive research or doctrinal research or exploratory research, you might not need to write hypothesis. But when we do empirical legal research or social legal research, then you'll have to write a hypothesis to assess a fact. Then, coming to the fourth point, that is research design. Now, after defining a research problem or a hypothesis, the next step that a researcher goes through is develop a research design. अब research design के कुछ key aspects होते हैं. That is firstly the blueprint for research, then the planning of how you want to do your research. सो रिसर्च डिजाइन का ब्लूप्रिंट क्या होता है? ब्लूप्रिंट बेसिकली एक आउटलाइन होता है. नाउ a research design acts as a blueprint for a proposed study, and it outlines the methodology and approach that is to be used. Then it helps you plan your research purpose. It encompasses the entire process of what you're going to do, what is the type of data that you're going to collect, the methods that you're going to use to collect your data, and the techniques for data analysis and interpretation is what comes in planning of research purpose. Then comes minimizing uncertainties. अगर आपका research design जो है well structured है, obviously uncertainties का probability बहुत कम होगा. A well structured research design helps you reduce uncertainties and confusions, and often जो भी practical problems आती है, you can anticipate that and already come up with a plan कि if I face this problem, I'm going to solve it in so and so way. So it helps you decide, helps you minimize uncertainties as well, and it helps you guide on data collection. Now coming to the fifth aspect of your research, that is आपने चलो problem बना लिया, आपने literature पढ़ लिया, you have identified gaps, you have come up with a hypothesis that you want to prove or disprove, and you have come up with a research plan or research design, that is a blueprint कि आपको कैसे research करना है. What is the next step that you do? The next step that you do in writing your research paper is you collect data. Now, once the research problem is formulated and the research design is established, you collect data that is necessary. The researcher choose from a variety of data collection sources. Now, there are various sources of data collection. You can do interviews, you can do field surveys, you can give people questionnaires, you can find data from various sources. Now, कौन सा मेथड आप यूज करोगे डेटा कलेक्शन का is very important. And again, your data collection method will depend on what your question is and how you have formulated your research design. There are a certain key considerations in data collection process. The first is the importance of selection, because if you don't choose the right type of process to collect your data, then it can significantly impact the quality and reliability of your research as well. So always brainstorm की अगर मेरी रिसर्च किसी एक पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक पे, फॉर एग्जांपल वी आर टॉकिंग ऑफ रिहैबिलिटेशन ओनली, मुझे किस किस मेथड से डेटा कलेक्ट करना चाहिए. Should I only do interview? Should I only do questionnaire? Should I from what other sources can I collect data? Is it only the public sources, or are there any other sources जहाँ से मैं data collect कर सकती हूँ? Always answer these questions in your mind to ensure that you have a good quality of data available with you, which is also very reliable, and your data collection method should align with your research objective. The researcher must consider the objectives of their study, as I've already stated, and the nature and scope of when selecting data collection methods, because it is very important कि आप align karo. If say for example my topic is something where I require people to answer a certain set of questions, and I do not uh, what I do is I do not choose questionnaire giving questionnaire as a way of collecting data, then I will not have that kind of information which is needed. So it is always important for you ki you select the proper type of mode in which you want to uh, you want to collect data. अब आपने डेटा कलेक्ट कर लिया, व्हाट इज द नेक्स्ट थिंग दैट यू डू? आप डेटा को एनालाइज करते हो एंड इंटरप्रेट करते हो. व्हाई यू डेटा इज something that is in a raw form. You need to put it together, to piece it together. You need to bring the pieces together to come up with a conclusion. So you cannot write your research report या फिर आप अपने डिसर्टेशन तब तक नहीं लिख सकते जब तक आप उस डेटा को एनालाइज नहीं करोगे, या फिर आप एक सर्टेन ट्रेंड को हाईलाइट नहीं करोगे. बिकॉज डेटा जो है वो यूजुअली क्या होता है, न्यूट्रल होता है. आपके पास डेटा आता है, बहुत तरीके से आता है, and until and unless you interpret it into a meaningful manner, it is of no use. आपने डेटा कलेक्ट कर लिया बट आप उसको सही से इंटरप्रेट ही नहीं कर पाओगे, तो आप क्या प्रेजेंट करोगे अपने कंक्लूजन में, राइट? सो एनालाइजिंग एंड इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑफ डेटा इज द नेक्स्ट एस्पेक्ट विच इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. सो जब हम एनालिसिस की बात करते हैं, देयर आर वेरियस मेथड्स इन विच यू कैन एनालाइज. द फर्स्ट इज क्लासिफिकेशन और कैटेगराइजेशन. इसका मतलब ये होता है कि दिस इन्वॉल्व्स ऑर्गेनाइजिंग डेटा इनटू ग्रुप्स और वेरियस काइंड्स ऑफ क्लासेस based on their similarities or based on their differences. The categories are always relevant to your research problem या फिर जो भी आप hypothesis formulate कर रहे हो, and these are exhaustive and mutually exclusive. That is this is not something very vague category कि हाँ मेरे पास मान लो एक data है. Data is already very raw, it is neutral, and अगर आप उसे vaguely classify करोगे, it will not serve the purpose of doing research. So अगर आप classify कर रहे हो, एक categorize कर रहे हो, so it must be mutually exhaustive and very distinct, it cannot be vague. Then comes coding. This step assigns symbols or numerical values to each category that you have made in or each class that you have classified. Why we do coding? Because it is easier to count and tabulate the raw data once we code it. And then comes interpretation of data. Interpretation is critical component in research because आप कैसे interpret करते हो data को clearly impacts your research report. Now there are a few inferences that can be derived. The first is deductive and the second is inductive. डिडक्टिव का मतलब ये होता है कि आप जनरल एक प्रोपोजिशन से एक स्पेसिफिक कंक्लूजन पे आ रहे हो, एंड इंडक्टिव इज द ऑपोजिट. इंडक्टिव मीन्स यू आर गोइंग फ्रॉम अ स्पेसिफिक ऑब्जर्वेशन टू अ ब्रॉडर जनरलाइजेशन, and you can interpret data in that manner. Guys, please give me a moment. Yes, I'm audible.
Yes.
Thanks, Kushbu. Now coming to the most important aspect of what you submit after collection of data and interpreting it is your research report, या फिर जिसको आप कई बार अपनी dissertation बोलते हो, कई बार आप अपनी thesis बोलते हो. Now skipping all this, coming to the main aspects of your research report या फिर आपका dissertation. If any one of you has ever written a dissertation or thesis, can you all tell me कि आप लोगों ने क्या क्या चीजें cover करी है in your dissertation, or what all are the aspects that you have written, or what all the headings that you write when you submit your dissertation to your college or when you submit your project. even if you've written a research article, there are a few key points that you all always write. So can you all list down those? What are the things that you write? Yes, the PPT will be shared. Now, anyone has any idea of what all are the things that you write in your research report or in your dissertation, which we say? क्या क्या चीजें हैं जो आप मेंशन करते हैं? Uh, Sarah, you're right. We have abstract, we have keywords, hypothesis, research. Yes. Amulya, legal issues and legal problems तो आप solve करते ही हैं. There are other things that you write in your research report. If you have ever written a research paper, तो आपको idea होगा. There are a few key things that we always mention. Anyone else? What all are the other things that we write? Abstract keywords, introduction. Yes, 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 you're right. I saw just one question above. Can we have multiple hypotheses in same research report? Yes, we can have multiple hypotheses in the same research report if it is relating to the particular topic itself. And yes, I'll also provide the PPT. So let's just finally come up with almost the end of this session and see what all we write. तो रिसर्च रिपोर्ट या फिर जो भी आप आपकी डिसर्टेशन लिखते हो, थीसिस लिखते हो या फिर जो भी आप रिसर्च पेपर लिखते हो, द preliminary pages are always the acknowledgement, the preface, the table of contents, table of cases and statutes, list of abbreviation and list of tables. तो ये सारी जो चीजें हैं, ये जो 6 चीजें हैं, that is the acknowledgement, that is who all you want to thank, or who all are the persons that have contributed to your research. Then the preface, that is an introduction to your research report. This map outline karte ho what is the scope and what is the purpose. Then the table of contents, that is a guide to your research report, because there are many things that you'll write in your research report, right? So वो सारी चीजें, उन सारी चीजों का heading that comes in the table of contents. Then we have a list of statutes and cases, that is what all are the cases that you have referred, if you have referred to any, what are all the laws that you have referred, if there are Indian laws only, if there are foreign laws, if there are rules and regulations that you have referred to, if there are various constitution that you have referred to, you write that. Then we write a list of abbreviations, because we use a lot of various type of abbreviations in our dissertation or a research project. So on सारे abbreviations को हम लोग explain करते हुए एक list लेते हैं which goes in the next page. And then we have a list of tables. Now जब आप अपना data analyze करते हो and उसको tabulate करते हो, you might write drop various tables, data tables. तो जितने भी आप टेबल्स बनाते हो, और इफ यू हैव मेड एनी सच टेबल्स, उनको आप मेंशन करते हो इन द लिस्ट ऑफ टेबल्स. यू नंबर देम टेबल 1.1 or 1.2, 2.1, 2.2 and write a short title of what the table reflects. And that is what you mention. Then comes our main body. Now main body में आता है हमारा introduction, that is an overview of your research problems, objectives and significance of the study. Then comes the literature review. That is, what are the existing literatures that you have gone through, and you explain them in a very short manner. Then comes the research methodology that you will be using. There are various kinds of research methodologies. There's empirical research, there is doctrinal, non-doctrinal, there's quantitative, qualitative, descriptive, analytical. So आप कौन सा research technique use करोगे, कौन सा research method use करोगे, is the next point that you mention. Then you write the findings, that is जो भी data आपने collect किया है, and you mention that data and you present it in an crisp and a form that explains your findings in tables, graphs or charts. Say for example, मैंने एक RTI लगाई and to get information of the number of convicted people in the past so and so years or the number of under trial prisoners. तो मेरे पास बहुत सारा डेटा आ गया. I cannot just put that data कि हाँ मुझे यहाँ से ये रिप्लाई आया, यहाँ से ये रिप्लाई आया. I need to analyze it and see the trends कि किस साल में under trial prisoners कितने थे, are the number of under trials increasing or decreasing, at the number or how much duration people have been under trial. I analyze that in tables, graphs and charts and then write that. देन द डिस्कशन का मतलब बेसिकली ये होता है कि आपने जो डेटा इकट्ठा किया जिसको आप टेबल्स ग्राफ्स एंड चार्ट्स पे डाल रहे हो उसे आप कैसे इंटरप्रेट करते हो. You write your interpretation and then finally you write the conclusion and recommendation. That is जो भी चीज़ें आपने पढ़ी है, जो भी डेटा आपने कलेक्ट किया है, आप उसे समराइज करते हो एंड अपनी की फाइंडिंग्स हो along with suggestions for future research or few or reforms that are needed to be implemented. So for example, I have done my research on under trial prisoners and I have seen that the number of under trial are increasing a lot in the years. तो मेरा कंक्लूजन, मेरा जो डेटा मैंने फाइंड आउट किया उसको मैं समराइज करूंगी एंड मैं की फाइंडिंग्स लिखूंगी एंड देन आई विल राइट सजेशंस फॉर फ्यूचर रिसर्च की मेरे टॉपिक पे, दैट इज अंडर ट्रायल प्रिजनर्स के टॉपिक पे और क्या रिसर्च हो सकती है. या फिर आई राइट सम सजेशंस कि जो भी अंडर ट्रायल प्रिजनर्स है, हाउ कैन वी कोप अप विद देम, हाउ कैन वी ensure that the number of under trial decreases or how can we give speedy justice. So I write the practical applications of that, and then comes the final topic, that is the end matter of your research report, जिसमें आप annexures attach करते हो, आप bibliographies लिखते हो, that is a list of a comprehensive list of all the sources that you have cited in your particular research report. एंड देन आप इंडेक्स लिखते हो, दैट इज एन अल्फाबेटिक लिस्टिंग. इंडेक्स हमेशा अल्फाबेटिक वे में ही होता है. सो उसके बाद आप अपने इंडेक्स डालते हो, दैट इज एन अल्फाबेटिक लिस्टिंग ऑफ टॉपिक्स कवर्ड इन द रिपोर्ट विच इज डन फॉर अगेन इजी रेफरेंस. एंड जब भी आप अपना रिसर्च पेपर लिखते हो, इट इज ऑलवेज concise, there is a logical structure and there is proper documentation, and that is how you write your research report. And now I just saw a few questions in the chat box. So, Kushbu, please give me a moment while I take the questions. And if you have anything to say, you can say in the meantime while I go through the chat and see the questions.
Sure, ma'am, sure. So before we come to the Q&A session, I would like to give a quick reminder about our upcoming 60 days advance course on civil procedure and drafting. So, as I have already informed you all, that the speaker for this course will be Advocate Gitika Jain ma'am, who has experience of 12 plus years in legal practice, who is also a gold medalist in her BA LLB and silver medalist in her LLM. She is also the project lead for the Government of Andhra Pradesh and also Senior Law Assistant, SIDCO Government of Maharashtra. Key benefits of this course include regular classes, special classes for drafting, convenient class timing, and e-certificate on completion of the course. Interesting part is that we have a Republic Day offer. Generally, the course is available for rupees 7,999, but for today, it is available in only rupees 2,025 rupees. So don't miss this amazing opportunity and enroll now for this course. For more details, visit legalvidya.com or you can contact to Mr. Paris.
Okay, thank you so much, Khushbu. And
Ma'am, if you permit, I would also like to share about one more course.
yes, please, Kushbu.
So, we are soon coming up with a 4-week course on legal research starting from 17th of February 2025. This course is designed to take your legal research skills to new heights. Learn advanced techniques, master citation formats, and receive an exclusive legal resource kit upon completion of the course. The instructor for this course will be Ms. Sakshi Sharma ma'am herself, and the key benefits of this course include regular classes, special classes, convenient class timing, and certificate on completion of course. Interesting part is that the Republic Day offer is available on this course also, and the course which is generally available for rupees 1999 is now available for rupees 225. So don't miss this amazing opportunity. Enroll now for the course. And for more details, kindly visit legalvidya.com or contact Mr. Parischuk. Thank you, ma'am. Now you can please take over.
Thank you so much, Kushbu. And Manshu, okay, your question is it worth buying the CPC course now? I personally have gone through the syllabus of the course and have also played part in, making the syllabus. And we've all ensured key syllabus covers everything from the drafting of each and every small application to the other aspects, that is the theoretical aspect. So anyone who is interested in, getting insights on CPC and completing the course in 60 days. Geetika ma'am is an amazing teacher. I'd say that myself. So, yes, I believe it is worth buying. And there was one question I missed earlier, which was, is the empirical and quantitative method same? Now, I believe it's Sarah's question. Sarah, if you're here, so it is not the same empirical research and quantitative research, but yes, there is a certain overlap. एम्पिरिकल जो है वो दोनों तरीके से हो सकता है, एम्पिरिकल क्वांटिटेटिव भी हो सकता है, क्वालिटेटिव भी हो सकता है. एम्पिरिकल में हम काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें यूज़ कर सकते हैं. वी कैन गैदर डेटा फ्रॉम इंटरव्यूज, वी कैन गैदर डेटा फ्रॉम क्वेश्चनियर्स, एंड वी कैन ऑल्सो हैव न्यूमेरिकल मेथड्स टू डेटा कलेक्शन. बट क्वांटिटेटिव जो है वो स्पेसिफिकली न्यूमेरिकल होता है. एंड हाँ, क्वांटिटेटिव कैन बी सेड एज इट इज़ अ पार्ट ऑफ एम्पिरिकल रिसर्च, बट दे आर नॉट द सेम. So I hope that is clear. Now, the great. Thank you so much. And this session, the second day session, was just to give you a brief of, what, what are the key components that goes into writing your research paper. And ऑनेस्टली जब हम लीगल रिसर्च की बात करते हैं, जब हम राइटिंग लीगल रिसर्च राइटिंग की बात करते हैं, इट इज़ अ वेरी बिग टॉपिक एंड देयर आर अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स टू कवर, एंड दैट इज़ व्हाई आई बिलीव वी हैव कम अप विद द कोर्स एज वेल. सो अगर आपको और भी इंसाइट्स चाहिए ऑन हाउ यू कैन राइट योर रिसर्च पेपर एंड हाउ यू नो मोर इंसाइट्स ऑन hypothesis, just the hypothesis itself is such a big topic that you'll need a whole 45 minutes to explain it. So I've tried to explain it in a very brief manner, and I hope आप लोगों को कुछ ना कुछ तो समझ आया ही होगा from this particular session. Thank you so much, guys, and once again, very happy 76th Republic Day to all of you, and I hope you have a good day. I believe the feedback form is shared in the chat box. If you have already filled the feedback form yesterday, as Kushbu stated, there's no need to fill it again. But do ensure that you fill the feedback form. It will help me get better as well, and it'll help me get insights on how I can better myself. So please do fill the feedback form. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining this course. And I hope you all have a wonderful day ahead, and keep learning, keep writing, and thank you so much. Thank you, Kushbu, for coordinating this session and yesterday's session as well. It was great to see so many people here. Some of you are old faces and some of you are new. And once again, thank you so much, guys. And thank you, Kushbu, and thank you, team of Legal Vidya, for having this session. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you so much, ma'am. At the end, I would like to thank you for such an interesting session and making it so easy for all of us to understand legal research and steps of legal research. Also, I would like to thank everyone for joining. It was such a fruitful workshop, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Have a great evening and keep learning. Thank you once again.